Hello and welcome to Edinburgh, Scotland. If you're visiting, there's a chance you're going to want to see some of the beautiful attractions, such as the castle, or the Royal Mile, or perhaps even the beautiful, stunningly Gothic Scott Monument. But for those seeking a glimpse of a more beautiful rural Scotland, there's a wee hidden gem not far from here that's surprisingly easy to get to.
Less than an hour's train ride south lies Melrose. It's one of Scotland's prettiest small towns, home to an extraordinary medieval abbey, spectacular walking, fantastic cafes, and some of the best scenery in the Scottish borders. We're starting today at Edinburgh's Waverley station, right in the heart of the city. If you're standing on Princes Street, just head towards the luxurious Balmoral Hotel. The station entrance is immediately beside it, so it's almost impossible to miss. Your journey's destination station is Tweedbank, which is the neighbouring village to Melrose. However, we'll be jumping off at the stop before Tweedbank, which is Galashiels. From here, it's just a short bus ride into Melrose. Okay, let's look at how to get there. Trains generally leave every hour throughout the day, but it's always worth checking times before you travel. You can buy tickets at the station or use the Trainline app. A day return ticket will cost you about £16, which is roughly $21. There's plenty of storage space for backpacks if you're planning a walk or opting to stay for longer. On your return journey, you will need to show your ticket, so please don't dispose of it until after you have left the station. Edinburgh's Waverley station is fully accessible. There are escalators that will take you down into the heart of the station. From here you can buy your tickets at the ticket machines, stop for a coffee, or head to the Marks & Spencer's food hall for some snacks for the journey. Always check the boards to see which platform you're going to be leaving from. If you prefer to do the journey by car, you can head south on either the A68 or A7, the journey taking roughly an hour and a half from the centre of Edinburgh. So now it's time to sit back and enjoy the journey. Incredibly, if I'd wanted to do this journey 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to. The line only reopened in 2015, having been shut down in 1969. Prior to that, you'd have had to have got on an old rickety cold bus for, I don't know, an hour and a half or 2 hours to get down here. So it's incredible that this is open again.
Although the railway officially ends at Tweedbank, Galashiels is the largest town along the route, and for many visitors, it's the natural place to change for the 10-minute journey to Melrose. All buses leave from the interchange terminal directly opposite the station. Tickets can be purchased via cash or contactless on the bus, or you can use the Borders Buses app to purchase tickets and check services and timetables. Services 51, 60 and 67 run regularly between the two towns, but please check as services may change over time. As the road follows the River Tweed, you'll start to see the landscape that has inspired writers, artists and walkers for generations. This is the heart of the Scottish borders. Rolling hills, ancient woodland and market towns that have changed remarkably little over the centuries. And then, almost without warning, the Eildon Hills come into view. For many people, that's the moment they realise they've arrived somewhere rather special. Melrose is compact enough to explore entirely on foot, and that's really the best way to experience it. Within a few minutes you'll have wandered from medieval history to independent cafes, riverside walks, and some of the finest scenery in southern Scotland. Whilst being a small town, Melrose has a surprising amount to offer, and if there's one place that defines it, it's the Abbey. Founded in the 12th century by Cistercian monks, Its magnificent ruins remain one of the finest examples of medieval architecture anywhere in Britain. Look out for the small memorial marking the burial place of the heart of Robert the Bruce, one of Scotland's greatest national heroes. Entry to the site costs £7.50 for adults, and there are concessions for OAPs, children and family groups. If you've got a head for heights, why not try climbing to the top of the bell tower staircase? Mind you, it is quite heavy going, but the views from the top are absolutely stunning. Don't think I'd have fancied climbing up those. Oh, and if you can, look out for the pig playing the bagpipes. There he is! Found him! And there's one of his friends. And another piggy! What is it with pigs in this place? And if you fancy a game of hoopla, it's all here. I'll be great at it. Oh, never mind. Better luck next time. Annexed to the site is the museum. It contains a range of objects, old artefacts from brooches, coins, old bits of masonry, and, well, other very strange things. For the more energetic visitor, why not opt to climb the towering Eildon Hills? The climb isn't particularly long, but it is steep in places. To access the route from the city centre, just follow the Dingleton Road up the hill and under the bridge. It's not an obvious start to a walk, so look out for the St Cuthbert's Way marker. Then you have a rather laborious set of steep steps to climb, but don't worry, there's somewhere to rest your legs halfway up. There it is. And with the steps out of the way, the walk becomes much easier. Although you probably couldn't tell that from my expression here. Don't worry, there's lots of places to sit. Then just keep following the path, as indicated. Remember to close the gates behind you as you go. Then, keep following the signs for the St Cuthbert's Way Eildon Hills path. That'll take you right to the top. But don't forget to take in the beauty as you go. Then you'll come to a fork in the path. To the right is the steeper, smaller hill, and to the left, the easier, larger hill. It is a bit of a trek to the top, but once you're up there, the reward is one of the finest panoramic views in southern Scotland, stretching across the Tweed Valley and deep into the borders. One of Melrose's greatest strengths is that it simply allows you to slow down. The town is full of independent cafes, bakeries and small shops, making it an ideal place to spend an afternoon without any particular plan. Why not chill out in Apples for Jam with pastries and tea or coffee? Or, for those of you who have worked up an appetite, why not enjoy lunch or dinner at Marmion's restaurant? Long before Melrose existed, this area was an important Roman frontier. The award-winning Trimontium Museum brings that history to life, with remarkable artefacts discovered from the nearby fort. The staff there are well informed and very friendly. If you have a little more time on your hands, and you've brought a decent pair of walking shoes, you can follow the River Tweed east from Melrose towards one of the most spectacular landmarks in the Scottish borders. To begin, we'll head past the Abbey until we see signs for the Borders Abbey Way. We'll be turning right towards Newstead to follow the riverside path that takes you through peaceful woodland and open countryside. It's a longer walk rather than a quick stroll, but the destination makes it well worth the effort. Eventually, the arches of a Leaderfoot Viaduct come into view through the landscape. Sometimes known as the Dry Grange Viaduct, it opened in 1863 to carry Berwickshire Railway across the River Tweed. The line once connected this part of the borders with towns including Duns and Greenlaw, before ending passenger services in 1948. At 126 feet above the floor of the valley, with 19 arches stretching across the river, it remains an extraordinary piece of Victorian engineering. And, for some, it may look familiar. Leaderfoot was used during the filming of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, appearing in the film's opening railway sequence. I'm standing in the same spot that Harrison Ford stood on. Woohoo! Once you've had your fill of the viaduct, simply retrace your steps back up the road towards Newstead via the ancient Roman fort of Trimontium. It may just now be a field with some key historical facts chiselled into a memorial, but to stand here and look over to the Eildons, as many Roman soldiers would have done all those years ago, it makes a connection to the past that will stay in your memories forever. From here, you can walk back via the sleepy, idyllic town of Newstead, before returning past the Abbey towards a much-needed ice cream, coffee, or perhaps something stronger at the Ship Inn. So, was Melrose worth the journey? Absolutely. I've travelled to quite a few historic towns over the years, but what struck me about Melrose wasn't just the Abbey. It was how everything feels connected. The history, the hills, the river and the town all seem to belong together. It doesn't feel like a place that's been designed for tourists. It simply invites you to slow down and enjoy it. Whether you're here for a few hours or a whole weekend, it's one of those places that's very easy to fall in love with. Sometimes the best journeys begin with a train ticket, a quiet path, and the curiosity to see what's just beyond the next hill. I'll see you on the next one. If you're thinking of visiting Melrose, here are some key dates that may influence when to visit. In late May, the Melrose Sevens, the birthplace of rugby sevens and one of the biggest sporting weekends in the Borders. In June, there's the Borders Book Festival. Internationally acclaimed authors, speakers and live performances in Harmony Garden. Bookings are required, so plan ahead. In late June, there's the Melrose Festival. Traditional border celebrations, horse ride-outs and community events. And then, in late November and early December, there's the Christmas Festival, with festive markets, lights and seasonal entertainment in the town centre. Please note, I'm not sponsored by any of the establishments, apps or modes of transport you have seen on today's video. I am uniquely independent and all recommendations are honest, true reflections of my experiences. I do hope you enjoyed them.